Okay, yeah. I think now we're all in here. So, how's it going, everyone? My name is Jose, and I'm gonna be representing Metis, among others, from our side. Here with me, I also have Matt, our biz dev lead. Matt, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming out. Great to be here and looking forward to this.
Awesome. And Tango, how's it going, man? Waiting for you. Hope
Hey,
everything's
going
good.
great, guys. Sorry, I've been rallying around here trying to make things work here. I'm still in France, spending a week after ECC, just spending a week here, and my word, has it been a struggle with internet, I will say. So if I apologize if I cut off here at any time, I will rejoin, but I hope my connection stays solid here. Yeah, it's been a real eye-opener to learn about internet in France. But otherwise, yeah, no, just really glad to be here, and yeah, just stoked here to be a part of this. We just had finished a big community call over at Sushi in the Discord there, so it's just kind of coming off the heels of that.
That's awesome, man. Paris sounds so good right now. But yeah, like most of the community is here mostly to know and to learn about sushi. So I don't know if you want to tell us maybe a little bit about how sushi started, a little bit about sushi's origins.
Yeah, so I mean, sushi was kind of best known for its, I guess, originally was a fork of uni and kind of going through the vampire attack here to try and I guess like to attract liquidity, and since then, of course, has grown into be so many different products, across DeFi, and making it essentially like a whole DeFi suite. Is really the way to look at it. So everything from token launch pad, where you're able to launch a token directly, for your own type of token from directly from Sushi, all the way up to being able to provide liquidity for that right out of the gate as well. So creating, like, of course, the AMM, which most people are most familiar with Sushi, as the automated market maker here, as the DEX. And then, of course, being able to engage with all aspects of that, with being able to provide liquidity for the AMM, and be able to even use your LP positions to farm and receive rewards from Sushi as well. Yeah, and that's where kind of some of these interesting things come into play here with other I guess other protocols or other networks and things like this, where there's the incentivization provisions that it can be had. So this is where, yeah, things get kind of interesting, as you can start rewarding individuals for providing liquidity in certain areas. There's also the cashy lending markets, which is designed for lending and borrowing, and being able to, take out loans or borrow against things as you need to. Based on, and that's isolated risk pairing. So it's just a pair as compared to things that are more broad spectrum, where you've got the entire pools of liquidity, all kind of as a how would this be? Non-isolated, I guess. So kind of like the way I'd originally thought of it was more like cross margin versus isolated pairs, is maybe from kind of the traditional leverage degens that are maybe in the audience here would kind of understand that a little bit better.
Just,
And then
just, just wondering, Tango. Like, I'm sorry to interrupt. Like, yeah. So we always kind of like do this thing in which we try to break down concepts, the most kind of
sure.
like Eli 5 possible. I was wondering if you could give us maybe kind of like an Eli 5 version of the pools that you were just talking about.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, ELI5 here. Sorry about that. I guess it's with the Kashi
No, it's all
or
good, man.
Kashi
It's all
market
good.
too. Yeah, of course, of course. But yeah, with Kashi, you would be able to have your risk on, or you'd be basically looking to borrow. Let's say you're going to borrow USDC again, against another token that you had. Let's say you had your Ethereum, right? Just to keep it simple. So you have your ETH token. You borrow, you put it up as collateral. So you put whatever, 1 ETH up as collateral. You then receive a certain percentage of loan to value ratio, and that's dependent on each market. So when I say market, I mean each pair That's depending on how much liquidity is involved within each, with how much liquidity is involved in the pair, and how much has actually been borrowed and used. So that's kind of a variable number there. I don't want to get too bogged down into that, but so you may have like a loan to value ratio of like let's say 80%, depending on how much you're able to pull out of that. Maybe it's only 50% in some cases, but sure, you'd be able to throw that much against it. So you had one ETH worth. So let's say ETH's worth $1,500, just for easy figuring. So you'd be able to get if it was a 50% loan to value ratio is what you were going to take out, you would get $750 worth of USD, or 750 USDC is what you would be able to borrow against. And so the idea is you can now have that 750 to go and use wherever else you want, to maybe use that to buy more ETH if you wanted to. For example, this is a use case of why you would do that. So you take that 750, you buy a half an ETH with it, and then let's just say that the price of ETH appreciates during the time that you've been holding this loan. Now, if you were to sell that ETH, and let's say it's appreciated by 20%, you would then could sell that ETH. You now have 20% more USDC. You would then only have to use the remaining portion, or sorry, you could only have to repay that $750. And on that 20%, oh geez, I picked some bad math numbers here, but then that way you still have that 20% profit, and you just have to repay the loan with the 750, and then that way you receive your collateral back, and off you go. Now, when it's isolated, that's where it's designed to be within. It's the risk pair is only within the ETH and USDC, so you're not actually taking on other risk pairs of like the entire lending market. So if the other things were to go down, if there was other assets that were involved in this pool, let's say you had 10 other assets that were involved in the pool that you're borrowing from, and if those went down, this is where you would have like a higher risk. This way here, you're taking on the risk only of the asset that you're interested in borrowing against, I guess, in this case. So it's a little bit of an abstract idea, and that's where I was just, kind of wanted to make that concept of when you were having cross margin versus isolated. That was kind of the easiest way for me to think of it, where cross margin, where you could have a ton of different collateral set in place, and use that to be as kind of collateral against your position, whereas isolated being like you just want to focus on the one simple thing. So anyways, I hope that kind of answers it for everybody on that side around the Cashy thing. I don't know if that was an ELI 5 or if that was a long-winded way of doing it, but nonetheless, hopefully that answers any questions with that. And then I guess like the final last couple of things here to touch on as far as Sushi. Just as I say, this is kind of like a heavy suite of different tools that is available. But moving towards the NFT marketplace as well now with Show You. That's another kind of another initiative that was community driven, and people are pretty excited about how that's Sushi kind of entering that market as well. So Show You should be ready to go here within the next couple of months, I think, or a couple of weeks is kind of where we're hoping for here. There's been a lot of great movement on it, but so basically, full suite of tools here that's available. I don't know if I've missed anything else here with it.
If I could just hop in and ask a quick question
Sure.
on the NFT marketplace, and kind of if you could just explain to our audience what you're doing to, I guess, differentiate yourself from other NFT marketplaces, like any core competencies or ways in which you guys are just trying to differentiate yourself in what's becoming a very concentrated market.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of it's very competitive as well. Again, with one of the key things here with Sushi is the fact that it is multi-chain and is across so many different networks. That will be one feature that Sushi will be aiming for, is to be able to be available on so many different networks, and kind of creating a different like social aspect to it as well, where it's enabling more of a, I guess, community engagement and community kind of approach with it as well. And Show You is also, in the past, it's kind of V1 of it was more focused on one-of-one type things, and now with the new version, it's to be designed a little more with to still allow that one-of-one, but to also have multiple, having like collections and everything as well, and being able to mint those directly from within Sushi, within Shoyu, and then be able to use that within the whole suite of tools as well. So this is where being able to use things like the Launchpad and be able to pull that into, be able to have like a raise for Shoyu for an NFT project, and being able to utilize all of that as well to tie that all in together is, I guess, one of the advantages. And then again, being able to utilize all the tools within Sushi to make that possible.
Yeah, that's all very cool. Thanks for breaking that down. I really like how you guys have the approach of making it extremely easy for the user experience with the user interface. I was checking out the Launchpad and all the different options and how nicely you break it down. Just makes it super intuitive and something that just you want to use. So I like that you're taking that same approach with the NFT marketplace because, obviously accessibility is one of the big barriers. So you guys seem to be solving that very well. So hats off to you for that. The other piece I'd like to kind of touch in, just what makes you guys a bit different than other AMMs. If you could get into Bento Box, and then perhaps if you could touch on the upcoming new pool types, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll do my best here to kind of break down all of that stuff. I guess high level on Bento Box, for example, it's kind of one of the newer things that Sushi's been working on and has kind of launched it across all the different networks. And again, differentiating between AMMs. We're Sushi's on I don't know, like almost 20 different networks at this point. And really excited to be bringing Metis on board here as well. So again, that's like one of the big moves that Sushi made early on, was just realizing that they need to be in several different networks and be there for wherever the demand is. So that's I guess one of the first things. And then with the Bento Box, the idea being is more of like having it as like a much cheaper gas way or gas usage and effectiveness of how to being able to enter in and out of it. So you're familiar with like going to an AMM and having you're about to create an approval. You have to first make an approval on an asset, and then you have to pay to swap it, right? So this is kind of a high friction area for a lot of people, where you're paying every time you want to interact with a new asset. Or a new router, I guess it's the router that you're kind of paying to interact with. You're always paying approvals. And so what the idea is around the Bento Box is to be able to sign a message instead of paying gas to say, hey, yes, I want to give approvals for my wallet to engage with Sushi or with the Bento Box. And then the Bento Box, everything is contained within that. So now if you're going to, your approvals essentially to utilize all of these things or to be involved with it, it's just a signature. So you're having gas savings there, and across all of the different assets that you're looking to engage with, and then having like gas optimizations for when you do swap, as I guess one of the benefits of that. There's also we recently passed through governance a new router contract that will through Manifold Finance, and they will be allowing for like kind of gas rebates as well, or that's kind of the short way of thinking about it. But they're basically capturing the MEV, or kind of avoiding MEV. I guess this is probably a little bit deeper than we need to go here, but basically there's potential paying more for swaps than you need to based off of the miner extracted value, which like I said, a little deeper than we need to get into, but capturing some of that and being able to capture that and give it back to Sushi in however it needs to, or whatever that needs to look at as like either reimbursements or use cases for operations or whatever it needs to look like. But just again, another kind of feature to add to it. And then the different pools that are available. Probably with the bento box, of course, the first thing that we need to add into there is just our pools that everyone's familiar with V2 style, where it's just your 50-50 of assets. So just your traditional AMM pools. And then the other one would be it's concentrated pools is what a lot of people are really excited about, because being able to kind of concentrate where your positioning will be around the liquidity, which can obviously be more capital efficient with all of that. So I think a lot of people are probably, when they hear concentrated, think more around the Uni V3 positions. And some of this is just a little bit different, but anyways, I'm not super great on that part, so I'd have to leave that one to one of the devs. But where all of this stuff, of course, being utilized within the bento box, so that just having better gas usage and whatnot here. So sorry, I'm not probably there's a lot of this stuff gets pretty technical, and I'm doing my best here to cover all this. So
I was just gonna say that from a user perspective, like you're absolutely on point. Like the concentrated pools is probably like the thing that I'm the most excited for, especially like in the Metis ecosystem, because of our builder miner rewards. I think that's gonna be a great combo. Like once we start seeing that growth coming from the Metis Marathon, from Sushi, and from all the upcoming pieces that are like yet to come, we're gonna see a very I'm not promising anything here. Like I'm just saying we might very likely see a lot of volume driven inside Metis ecosystem, which will, of course, drive a lot of that volume to Sushi, creating a lot of kickbacks to Sushi, because our builder money rewards is pretty much give back to the protocols in kind of based on however much volume or percentage of the overall transactions of the ecosystem they do. And I have no doubt that Sushi will be taking care of a lot of those. So
awesome. That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna ask you, like from a user perspective, like you were talking about all these, and it is certainly exciting. But like for you, besides the concentrated pools, because that's pretty much like the answer for all of us. Like, what's the feature from Sushi that it kind of that you like the most, that excites you the most from a user perspective?
So from a user perspective right now, and this is again just a couple of the newer products that I haven't touched on yet, that have just kind of recently come out here over the next over the recent weeks here. So probably the most notable would be the Sushi X Swap. So now this allows you to swap from any network, any asset on any network that Sushi supports and has liquidity for, be able to swap from that network over to another network and do those swaps. So basically cross-chain swaps is now possible, all from within the Sushi UI. It's using Stargate Finance. It's using that bridge to get across the networks. And so far it's been extremely positive, and it just removes so much friction for a lot of users when it comes to needing, you need to have assets on one chain, and then you're going to have to either swap it and then do that on some AMM, then go to a bridge and then make sure that you have that bridgeable asset and find a bridge that supports that, and then get over to the other side, and have you got native gas over there, and then you need to make another swap to get to that asset that you're looking for, and you have to find an AMM that supports that asset. It just turns into a real ton of friction.
It's the same thing that Matt kind of compliment from you all earlier. It's making it easy, kind of the facilitation of all these services for users, and I love it. Exactly, it's all about the user experience. That I do think that that's one of the main barriers for massive kind of onboarding into Web3. Until we don't have a system in which my grandma can come in and just bridge something to other chain, I don't think we'll see that massive onboarding. You know,
right?
But
right, and
those are the type of steps, kind of what you're saying. Exactly what the industry wants to see overall.
Exactly. And that's where, when you're saying when grandma has ETH on mainnet, and she says, I can't afford to participate in this because this is these are this doesn't make any sense, and be able to hey, you get her over to Polygon, or get her over to whatever networks just that she wants to use. Or now you can say, hey, grandma, we want to get you over to Metis at some point here. So yeah, being able to like offer these kind of solutions within our UI, and keeping people and having that user retention, I think is going to be fantastic. And so that's why it's be great it's going to be great having Metis, part of the ecosystem as well now.
No,
And I
for
guess
sure. Grandma is for sure bridging to meet this, bro.
she's coming to Metis. She's coming there to be a part of it. And then the other one, the final kind of thing here that of the recent products here that's also exciting is Furo. So it's a streaming platform, or I guess like streaming, money streaming, I guess is the way you could look at it. But it's also utilizing the bento box, as I had mentioned before, where assets that are inside of the bento box, if there's a strategy applied to them to gain yield. So again, it's a little bit more abstract here, and I'm trying to bring it back here to make sense for everyone. But basically, being able to have like a live stream of assets that you want to send to someone. So for example, if I wanted to pay you, I'm going to pay you 100,000 Metis over the next, over the next like year, right? As I'm going to pay you as a salary. Now, in the past, with previous streaming services, that those assets are just like that 100,000 Metis is sitting there and not being utilized. It's just raw sitting there, not gaining any yield, not going to work or anything like that. So where Furo comes in is it says, hey, we're actually going to keep these assets are going to go to work, and there's going to be a strategy applied to them. And so we'll use that within the DeFi suite of tools within Sushi to gain yield on it. Maybe it's not much. Maybe it's only 1% or 2% in some cases. Maybe it's less, but it's still something, right? Where it's actually growing and accruing value. In the past, in order to do this, you may have had to like lock up a token inside of a different lending protocol, and then take that token to another area, and then have that as your stream. Or you in streaming that token. So now that becomes kind of a bit of a friction point for people as they like start claiming that token, and then they have to take that token to another platform to then unwrap it to then gain the yield on it. So this way here, again, consolidation, bringing it all back to everyone to use within, keeping you within the UI and within the Sushi ecosystem. So and all of those are the streams are actually created as NFTs. And then those NFTs, so whichever network you're on, it mints you an NFT for that. So that's like kind of a receipt of your streaming position. And so that's where the stream will be going to wherever that NFT is. So let's say you wanted to change it to a different wallet, or you wanted to like give away your stream to your grandma, because grandma needs to have needs some new Metis. You could just say, here, grandma, I'm going to let you have this NFT, and you are now receiving you are now receiving the stream as compared to I was. So pretty interesting and powerful. Pardon?
Yeah, like she's receiving the receipt in that case, right? Kind of like the NFT acting as the receipt.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, that's that one's also pretty interesting and something I'm excited about. But yeah, like I say, the SushiSwap Sushi X Swap is is a super cool new feature, and really excited about just getting people to first know about it and make it happen. It's only been live for a little over a week, I guess. Yeah, it's actually Sarong was in ECC and did the very first the first one live. It had been the SushiSwap or Sushi X Swap was live for like 20 minutes while he was doing his talk, and he pulls it up and shows everybody, and they're like, is this on testnet, or where is this? Like, nope, this is live. You can do it right now. And it was like everyone was just like blown away, like, oh, whoa, this is happening right now. So pretty cool to be able to see that happen as well. Those are kind of the super things that I'm excited about. And again, just it's about making things easier and being in so many different places. And again, just kind of also ties into this whole ethos of coming to Metis and being on there as well.
Well, I can confirm you that we're all actually excited. We're definitely excited of having like a platform that is kind of like spearheading the industry so much, and we're definitely looking forward to all the the upcoming collaborations that there's going to be like among sushi, like between Sushi and Metis. I think kind of like on my side, Matt, I don't know if you have anything else. If if you don't, we might wanna bring like for a couple of minutes, like 5-10 minutes, people up. Like if we wanna hold an AMA real quick. Any questions that the audience may have, any doubts that they might want to clarify. And Matt, yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can open up the AMA. I was just gonna say I love to see how all the pieces of what you guys have built are kind of coming together in the newer products you're coming out with, and how things like Furo are going to be able to benefit from, the capital efficiency of the concentrated pools. And I believe you guys have, weighted pools coming out as well. So it's just cool to see how all of this is kind of leading towards more capital efficiency, more profitability for users, and just more freedom to the people, which is kind of what this is all about. So yeah, love to see it, and let's definitely open things up to the audience. So if anyone has a question, I guess feel free to put your hand up, and we can get you on stage.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. This is the moment.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I wish there was a way to have messaging in Twitter Spaces. Yeah, obviously, I know a lot of people don't like coming up and speaking as compared to just text-based stuff. But yeah, if you do have other questions, like feel free to DM me, reach out on Discord is probably the best way to do that. Of course, you can find me over in the Sushi Discord, or just find me directly on Discord. Tangle number, I guess number sign or pound sign or hashtag, however you like to look at it, 0007.
Awesome.
Yeah, so feel free if you want to reach out to me afterwards, or like I say, even just head over to the Sushi server, hop in there. One of the samurai are probably your best case to like either help you with something or give you the answers you need. There's extremely talented bunch over there that have been an integral part of like getting sushi to be where it needs to be, and just like interacting with the community at with all of its questions. So yeah, super friendly. Hop over there. We're very welcoming as well. And yeah, please, any questions you can ask over there as well.
Thanks so much, Tangle, and we gotta get you in the Metis server as well, man. And thanks everyone for coming out today. It was a great space, and yeah, feel free to ask any questions through our DMs. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.